This is Matt for Into Boxing. I'm delighted for the first time since, I believe, Newcastle for Savannah's last fight. And we're delighted to be joined by Peter Fury as always. Peter, we're here in the middle of the Thames on a boat. I didn't think this would be happening.
I know, neither did I.
My head's wobbling a little bit, so I'll try to get through this the best I can.
No worries.
Monumental fight, an all-female card with the biggest fight, I would say, in terms of a rivalry, in terms of history for the female division. How proud are you from a trainer's standpoint that this fight's taking place? Must be a big moment for you.
Yeah, it's a big moment. I'm very happy for Savannah. I'm sure she's going to do very well, and she's ready.
It's very rare we get this sort of a story, especially in the female game, from amateurs all the way to the pro. We have that rivalry. It's something that's been missing. How exciting is it that we get to see it and it's been, put on a big stage? But you see all the work that Ben Shalom and Boxer have put into these events. No expense spared. I mean, look at the workout we're doing today. How pleasing from your point of view that they're getting the respect they deserve, not just as female boxers, but as boxers?
Yeah, I think so. And you've got to say, Boxer, Hennessy. Mick, Hennessy Sports, Sky Sports, they've all pulled together and done a fantastic job in getting this fight made. Yeah. It's not been easy to make. There's been a lot of hurdles, and like I said, massive respect goes out to them. They've thrown an open checkbook at all this. You can see what's going on around you. It's never been done before. So it's nice, it's different. They're stretching the boundaries and they're really going at this boxing in a big way. Yeah. And I think what a card as well. There's some great fights on it.
Yeah. I'm going to say, when you look at the card, we'll just touch on the undercard, you've got the likes of Caroline Dubois, some of the Olympic stock on there as well, Ebony Jones, and the chief support, Michaela Mayer versus Baumgardner, is an absolute banger. That's take your money anyway. What do you think, before we talk about the main event, what do you think of that fight from your point of view? It's a great stylistic matchup, and once again, there's that bit of needle there that gives everyone that interest as well, especially for a casual fan.
I've heard a lot about the fighters. I think it's going to be a terrific fight. It will be. And the good thing about this kind of card, there's all good fights on it. And I think the fans are going to really, really get behind women's boxing after Saturday night, because I know Savannah's prepared for all-out war. So it's going to be hell on high water. And I think all the undercard fights are going to be exciting as well.
Absolutely. You mentioned Savannah there will be ready for an all-out war. I asked Savannah, I said, because everyone talks about her power, which undoubtedly is very noticeable, it's there. Do you think sometimes, though, her natural boxing ability sometimes gets overlooked because her power is so prominent?
Exactly, of course it does. And to land that, but what people don't realise, to land that power, you've got to be a good boxer to get it there. So she's good, she knows what she's doing, and she's sharpened their job tremendously.
Is this going to be her defining night this Saturday? Is this going to be her defining night where she realises all her dreams and hits that undisputed ticket?
Well, she's trained for it. She's had 3 months of hell, and she's ready for it. So we'll soon see who the best is.
When you see the back and forth from obviously Shields, obviously she's quite vocal. Savannah's not as vocal as Claressa. Do you think is anything to be looked into when you read that, or is it just a case of it builds the fight nicely, or do you think Claressa puts herself as an disadvantage talking that much?
For me, it's all bravado. I don't care about it. What I care about is getting it on Saturday night.
Just picking this back up with Peter Fury. Peter, we thought we had to get off this boat, but it looks like we're not even started to go back yet, so you've got my company for another couple of minutes. We've talked about Savannah, we've talked about the main event, the magnitude of the event. I want to come on to Hughie, Michael Hunter, terrific fight. How's Hughie's training been going? How's he looking in the gym?
He's been training well. He's back in the gym, he's sparring, and looking forward to that fight. Get this out of the way Saturday. I'm back in the gym on Monday.
I feel a bit for Hughie, because whenever you see these fights get made, you sort of think, wow, this is a huge step. Like, nobody's actively calling out a Michael Hunter. It's a good name to have on your record. It's a terrific competitive fight. But then obviously he does suffer and have these illnesses and stuff. Is he just being a bit unlucky when he's preparing for these fights and he falls sick and things like this happen? Is it just life? What is it? 'Cause he seems to don't have the rub of the green with it, does he?
No, he's had one thing after another, so it is what it is. I don't know. I've got no answers for it. Maybe he trains too hard. We have to have a look at it. But he's ready. Frustrating for him as well, because he loves to fight. So the inactivity for any fighter is not good.
Yeah, and I sort of think in the last couple of fights we've seen him more come out of his shell, and we've seen a little bit more of what he can do. That must be frustrating, that sort of stop-start, when you think you're getting going again and it's like, I'm coming back again.
But he's still not even 28. He's had 29 pro fights. You know, so what if he has a rest? So what if he has a blip? You know, best to get it right, because I won't let any of my fighters fight until they're 110%.
Going into this fight with Michael Hunter, how much of a statement would it be for Hughie to get the victory over someone like that?
That'd be a massive statement. Hunter's a good fighter. I think, be a great fight, and that's the fights we want to be in. I want to give the fans the fights that they want to see.
In these next couple of fights, will sort of be key to Hughie's future. Obviously, we've just talked about his age there. Like I said, you'd think he'd be mid-30s now, the amount of fights and how long he's been around the scene. But he is now, we've seen the last couple of fights, seemingly improving or showing more of what he's got. How far is he off challenging for a world title in your eyes? Or will this Hunter fight tell us all?
I think he will. I think he's ready, and he's ready for a world title fight tomorrow. So it's going to be great anyway. Hughie's time's coming, and it's coming very soon.
Someone else we've got on this card, I know he sort of zigzagged around here, but April Hunter. I remember I spoke to you in Newcastle and you said what's good about April is, and I remember it quite clearly, like a car when you strip it all back and you're trying to just rebuild and put it together. How pleased are you with your rebuilding job of April Hunter? She seems in good spirits, very lively, good shape.
You know, April Hunter needs maximum credit. She's had a hard camp with Savannah as well. She's been sparring Terry Harper as well. So April Hunter's coming on. You know, there's still room for improvements to be made. She's not the finished article yet, but she's getting a lot better. And I expect to see improvements again come Saturday night.
Now, you've obviously trained everyone from here to world titles. Does that give you a bit more sort of satisfaction and a motivation knowing that you're starting this journey as a fresh, that you've got to sort of rebuild with her? Does that give you that sort of that buzz as a trainer, as a coach, to know that it's like a fresh start, it's a new journey?
It does, you know, to turn the fighter around, you know, and make them good from, you know, making them average. You know, it's all about, you know, there's no point getting a finished article, you know, because then it's just about business. You know, but I like bringing the young ones through and getting them on the right track, and you know, and to see the level of improvements, that's satisfactory for me.
Absolutely. Is your Is your stable open to adding any more fighters to it, or are you maxed out at the minute?
I've always said no. It's a full-time commitment. But I'd never really say no. It just depends. But I'm not looking for fighters, no.
I've not spoken to you about this bit because obviously we've not seen each other. But Oleksandr Usyk, Anthony Joshua, can we just touch on that for a minute? What was your sort of breakdown? I know you'll have done this to death, but I've not spoken to you. So, what did you make of the fight and how it went? A lot of people were saying, who were there, Spencer Oliver, it was close till the 9th and 10th. How did you see the fight? How did you score it?
I didn't. I had it the same as the first fight. I thought he'd done better. He was stronger and he was fitter.
Yes.
In the 9th round, I gave him that. He had a good 9th round. But no, I give it Usyk unanimous. It wasn't close for me.
I'm glad you said that, because when I was scoring it, I was like, and everyone around me going, oh, it's within 1 or 2 rounds, and I was like, I'm not sure it is, and that's no discredit to AJ, because I actually think he did a lot better than the first fight, and he showed a bit more. Is that just a case of sometimes, in terms of a style, it's just not his fight?
No, he wasn't winning that fight, and you know, like I say, first 3 rounds, 3 or 4 rounds, it was a repeat. It was when you look back at it, it was exactly the same as the last fight, even the corner work, because they told him he was in front there, and he wasn't, was he? Because the first 3 or 4 rounds he said, you know, you're winning this, AJ. Yeah. What fight are you watching? You know? Yeah. I've never ever said once to any one of my fighters in the corner, you've won that round if you haven't.
What do you put that down to? Is that a trainer thing, or is that maybe, I know people talk a lot about having too many people in a camp or yes men, or is that someone telling him what he wants to hear? Is that a ploy? Why do you think that is?
I think it's telling them what they want to hear. They're just trying to trying to create some false confidence that's not there. You know, if you're losing, you know, and that round's not going well, then you need to adjust. Not tell the fighter he's winning if he's losing the rounds. You know, so that's it, but definitely not. Definitely wasn't winning them.
What did you make of his outburst at the end? I mean, I was there in the press conference and he completely broke down in tears after that. I think it looked like the sort of the weight of the world had just were on his shoulders, and it had finally sort of got to him. Do you put that down to just being upset? Do you think he thought he'd won the fight? It's a strange one. Never really seen that from him.
Well, I think the frustrating thing, me looking at it, is that you've had the first fight and you've been completely outboxed in it. Yeah. The second fight's come. You've had a year to prepare for it, and you've got outboxed. It's similar, the same thing again. And you've lost. So that frustration's going to be there because it's like it's a lot of time to prepare to do the same thing. So yeah, it's going to be frustrating for him. The lad wants to win. He wants to win it. He ain't there for the good of his health. He ain't making up the numbers. He wants to win that fight.
It's going to be interesting to see how this sort of heavyweight scene develops now, with obviously where the belts are. Look, Peter.
Styles make fights, and this is it. You can never say anybody's too good for anyone until you pit them together.
100%. I know a lot of people are saying about him potentially retiring and calling it a day, but when you look at the fights that are still out there for him, obviously everyone talks about the Tyson, but there's Dillian White. Yeah, obviously he's just coming off a defeat. I'm sure that'll sell out probably wherever it goes. What would you like to see him do next?
I don't know.
It's hard to say because obviously it's his choice, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not my fighter, so I don't know. I wish all the fighters the very best, but the only thing I would say, everybody needs to stop talking and get on with fighting. And that's the best is.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I'm sure we'll see that soon enough.
Brilliant. Peter Fury, thanks very much for giving Into Boxing some of your time, giving me some of your time again, and hopefully we can catch up again. But
good to see you.